Heather Slusser here with the University of Wisconsin Division of Extension. Today we are talking with Dr. Simon Jette Nantel from the University of River Falls and the Center for Dairy Profitability. He is going to talk with us about his fact sheet, Planning for Labor Disruptions. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Heather. Obviously, in the current context, we're thinking about COVID as being the source of labor disruption. What if your employees cannot show up or not showing up because they are sick, or it could be because they are afraid of being exposed? But in more general sense, labor disruption could also be caused by an accident. And also, obviously, if there was a strike, that would be another cause for labor disruption. In a nutshell, is how you're going to keep your operation moving and how you're going to keep producing milk or whatever other production you might be into, and how do you minimize any negative impact on your labor force and on your finance, obviously. As a lot of the planning and management, it should be ownership and the upper management that should come up with that plan that has this kind of overview of the entire labor force involved in your operation, and that kind of has a sense of who's responsible for what, and has a good sense for all of those different tasks. And then you may have to consult, if you're in a larger operation, with team leaders or middle managers or your experienced or skilled workers, which those people may be brought into the planning to get some of the details down, but it should be initiated and mostly run by upper management. The first part is really about identifying whatever vulnerabilities to a labor disruption you may have, and those imminent tasks, specialized tasks would be the ones to cover. That's the first part. The second part you should ask yourself is basically, what are the solutions? Internally, what are the resources that you might be able to use in order to cover for the employees or the people that cannot perform their task? If you have different teams or different people that can substitute for one another, then that will help you deal with a labor disruption event. Hiring extra workers can also be something that can help you alleviate that situation. The other thing then after that is to also identify outside of your own farm, what are the resources that could help you address any labor disruption event. We're talking about neighboring farms, you have relatives, maybe some of the other businesses you're dealing with, your co-ops, custom workers, or anybody else outside. Try to think about what are the resources that are available to me. I want to mention here that if you establish such a plan that maybe the neighbor or some of your relatives' farms, you have to think of the legal implications of that. If the person is on one farm's payroll and goes to work on another farm, who would cover any liabilities if some incident happens? If it's going to be a prolonged event, then it might be easier to the other farm to actually hire the person themselves, to have that person come in and be on their payroll and go through some of the paperwork to facilitate some of that. And also, you might have some agreement with some external resources for them to provide training for some of your employees. So, hey, if person A, if person B cannot come to work, can I have you help me train this person so that they can troubleshoot the robot, or that they can help with, whatever other tasks on the farm. And it could also be that having agreement with custom workers or to come in and to perform some of the tasks on the farm. Just the planning exercise in itself is actually going to help. Most farms are smaller businesses, but if the upper management and the ownership is going through that process, it's going to allow you to identify vulnerabilities and solution. And that's a huge benefit of just jugging your mind through that. But you'll want to make sure that all that doesn't stay in your head, and that it's actually on paper, so that if you cannot be around, or if some people part of the ownership and the upper management cannot be around, that other people can actually implement that plan and benefit from all the thinking, the planning that you've been doing. The idea is that to come up with a document that will specify the list of critical tasks, and that will specify who's responsible to cover for those tasks, and have those persons, whether it's you or other employees, middle managers, have them listed with their contact information for them to be able to deal with that situation. I have a list of backup plans. So what's plan A, what's plan B, and I have the contact information of everybody involved who's going to be called.